Now the racing is over, the conversation begins here at the Rear Winging It Formula One podcast. I'm your host, Ellie Ledwell, and I'm joined with my co-hosts,
Harry Mckay.
I'm Menell.
Welcome back. This is episode 2, and we're going to be previewing the 2022 season. So we'll start off by thinking about what the best looking car is, because they look quite different this year.
It's a drastic shift, not just the liveries, but the bodywork.
Yeah, it's the biggest change in, I think, 50 years. The rules are massively different, so I think...
Hope to make it more exciting.
Hopefully,
not just a two-horse race.
It's the anticipation that has killed me.
Yes.
The anticipation for, it's the hope what kills you.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
we all want Noah to do well, but let's face it, he's going to get about P4, P5.
We'll have to see
we'll
if
get
it
to
shakes
that.
it up.
Yeah. Harry, what is the best looking car for you?
Now, the best looking car, obviously it's a combination of the paint job and the bodywork itself, what they've gone with.
Red Bull.
With the new aero regulations. No. The new aero regulations, teams have gone quite different car to car, how the cars actually look. And over sort of from Barcelona preseason running, or whatever they called it, to preseason testing, which is currently just on day 2 in Bahrain, the car that hasn't changed very much, which I thought was the best looking car then at the reveal, best looking car now, I think it's the Ferrari.
It's hard to change it if it's just red.
Yeah.
Well, not just the bodywork itself.
Which type
changed.
of red do you want?
Well, it's a darker red. It's a darker red.
now.
And it's got the black rear wing.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a fan of it.
I've been watching it out on
No,
track.
I like Ferrari. It's
it-
iconic, isn't it? I think someone said it's like famous saying or something like that. Or I might have said it, so
If
it's
you picture
famous.
a sports car.
I've said it. So, if you ask a child to draw a car and colour it in, they colour it in red.
Yeah.
And that is like Ferrari. So I'm not asking kids that, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a famous quote somewhere.
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I've just said
That's
it.
exactly it. You got it right. But I think the actual bodywork itself with the side pods, they are big, but the way they sort of curve round to the back, and sort of curve inwards,
It's very different to what any other
I
teams
was
are
going to
doing.
say, not only is
think.
it different, I think it looks great. And from the limited running, the limited amount of information, all teams are saying, it seems to handle the best. It seems to be fairly quick. I just like the look of the car. I normally wouldn't say that. The Ferraris normally don't pop to me, but
Yeah.
For the side pods, I'm sure Perez had it on when he was defending.
I think so.
Lewis,
He's got
to be
another
honest.
test.
I think it's interesting how different all of the top teams have gone. Like the Red Bull, when they first released it, it just looked really boring. But when they actually rolled it out on track for the first testing, it was like, that's not the car you showed off to us the other week.
Yeah.
Some of them have definitely been hiding things up their sleeve,
Yeah.
and I think still
Still
are.
are, yeah.
Well, for the Aston Martin, it was the colour of the car for a while.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the
that was interesting.
The
Alfa Romeo.
Oh, was it Alfa Romeo? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
Sorry.
in the camo,
The
wasn't
camo.
it?
The camera was
You were
it.
quite a fan of that one, weren't you?
I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should have stuck with it. I think they're downgraded personally.
So
but
what do you think, Mitchell, the best looking car is?
I think a fan of the Ferrari because it's just basic and stuff. I quite like the Mercedes, and a lot of people don't, but I like it. I like the black, but it's nice for it to be black and silver. But the McLaren this year, I think. But hopefully, Red Bull go back to white, and then
then it will take it.
The
That'll take
McLaren,
over.
they look more like the special livery they had at Monaco. They've taken that on.
Yeah. I did like it, but it wasn't as good as the.
I think the one that surprised me was the Aston Martin. When I first looked at it, I didn't like it because it's got that lime green kind of tint.
No, yes.
Taken away the pink, because obviously the pink's gone now to
I quite like that
Alpine.
one as well.
So when I first looked at it, didn't like the Aston Martin, but it's grown on me. Seeing it out on track,
I
it's
quite
grown on
like
me.
it from the start, and it's just it hasn't grown more on me, but it's just been.
I think
kinda liked it.
seeing it on tracks helped, and I think it is an improvement over last season for sure. Not my favourite, but I think it's a step up. Yeah.
With the new regulations, do you reckon the racing will be tighter? Do you reckon it will do what it's meant to
has
do?
to be right. It can't just be a two-horse race again.
If we've
And at the top 4 just going ahead and having their own battle.
Yeah.
If we've done all this and the hope they've built up, I think for a lot of
And
fans
plus,
and teams, for it to not, even if it is, you have, even if the order doesn't change up too much, if the actual content of the driving doesn't change, if you can't follow cars without overheating, if you can't overtake sooner, I mean, you sort of lost the point of the regulations at that point, and you've gone through all this hassle for nothing.
I say this, but Mercedes ripped up the regulations and went, screw it, we'll make our own car, clearly.
They've got wings under their wing mirrors.
Yes.
It's,
very interesting new addition.
Very interesting.
For
talk of the
testing.
town,
I was
definitely.
I thought Red Bull makes you fly, but clearly
if we're talking about
Mercedes has stolen that.
Mercedes and talk of the town, the new aero regs and the heavier cars, most teams have these big side pods, all different sort of ways. People at first were talking about Red Bull. They had quite a low undercut of it. Mercedes, no side pods.
Where have they gone?
The talk is there might be a new cooling system, a chemical cooling system that's allowed them to just get a bit of a chainsaw and cut it out.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I think it looks bad.
I think it looks like
bad.
someone's hit them and it's crumpled inwards.
It does. That doesn't think it looks good, but I think it could be genius.
If it works, which, I mean, if they've gone drastically different, you'd expect it to.
The
Williams... I feel like, and Mercedes as well, have got a history of doing
new
like
inventions, new things.
The wheel system as well,
DAS.
It's called. DAS, that's it.
Yeah.
I was going to say DRS, but every car.
When something is too, innovative, it tends to get...
Often
I don't know. I think it's Mercedes, so...
I think people get annoyed that they didn't think of it themselves.
For sure. I think there was some comments either way from Horner already. The statement now is he said it's completely legal. Red Bull do have an upgrade apparently tomorrow, day 3, last day of testing. We'll see if they've got something similar, something new, something different.
Hopefully it's just a white colour and change the colour to white.
They've got Adrian Newey, lead designer on 11 championship cars. The best he could come up with, white car. I mean,
I think it will definitely be interesting to see where everyone stands because I don't think preseason is giving us a good view.
From that point, they might not win the world championship, but they would win our award at the end of the season for best looking. So.
We'll get them a little kids karate trophy or something.
Yeah. Participation.
I was gonna say
I think I think Mercedes. It's if you think they're gonna be anywhere but in the top 2, really, that's quite a hope. I think quite a dream. I think they will be up there fighting for every win.
It's not like fighting for Haas, are they?
No, exactly. I don't think if you're expecting a Haas Mercedes turnaround, that's not what this regulation's going to do.
I don't expect that at all.
Unless something's gone drastically wrong for Mercedes.
I did say I did expect a Mercedes and Red Bull fight, but I've watched a bit of practice. Yeah, they're very limited, not gonna lie, and I've changed it. I've changed it a bit. My prediction.
I think Ferrari are going to be quick out the blocks, but I think the development over the season is going to be key this season because people, it's 100%. A bit blank, no one really knows what they're getting into, and I think
for new regs for sure,
for the new regs, people will be looking to their neighbours in the garage and see what's working and what isn't. Yeah. So we'll come on now to our predictions, shall we?
Constructors' predictions.
We'll start at 10th and work our way upwards. So Harry, who have you got in at number 10?
I'm not thinking there's going to be a huge shake-up, but I think teams are going to, go up a couple places or two. I've gone for Alfa Romeo last.
That's who I've got.
That shocks me.
I'll tell you why.
So I think gone for Haas, to be honest.
Well, we'll get there. But I like Bottas as a driver. I think he's no Hamilton. He's no championship winner. But I think he's very consistent. No. I think he he can do a lot in qualifying, particularly over one lap. So if he has a car, which I don't think that Alfa is going to take a step forward as big as some of the other teams, I just don't think the sort of management structure's there. I don't think they seem to know what they're doing in the last few years. They've gone backwards.
That surprised me.
I just don't. I like a good trajectory, and I don't think I'm seeing it.
And I think Bottas struggles coming through the field.
Yes,
and
another reason.
Starting at the back, I think he's going to struggle to make up places. Yeah. And with a rookie as his teammate, I'm not sure that it's going to go that well.
The lineup is a big part of it. I don't think that's the car for Bottas. I think it was more.
That shocked me a bit.
Because he can do well off the front, but time and time again in that Mercedes, we saw him struggling through the midfield. Yeah. Wasn't great at running in dirty air.
But Bottas, new hope.
No, I think he'll do
well.
A
new team. He's a main man. Confidence and going through.
Yeah. I'm predicting.
I picked him to do well this season. Not well, but.
I think he'll get some points.
Yes.
I don't think Zhao will, but I think he'll get some points.
I think every team will score points this year.
I would like to hope.
You like to hope, obviously.
So, why have you put Haas in at number 10?
They have a good year last year. They've had problems with funding now. So they're a bit of a
Yes,
they're right now in the mess situation. Not really their fault, but they're in a mess situation right now, and I think problems off field not going to help in this film. They struggled last year, and I feel nothing against Mick Schumacher and is it Magnussen back now?
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin Magnussen.
Both. I highly rate Mick Schumacher. I think he'll go to Ferrari at some point.
I think it'll be interesting to see him up against an experienced driver and not one that
a good
likes
comparison.
the teacups spinning around.
Old
You trust that?
Mazepin, as we call him. I think he obviously did. Neither of them scored points, but he was a lot better than Mazepin. I think that comparison being there with a driver who I do rate, Magnussen. I think he's a good choice. There weren't that many choices for them, obviously. It's just recruiting from out of the
I think Grosjean's one hand was better than Mazepin.
I think
that's true.
I think that it will give them more stability. I think that having an experienced driver along with Mick, it will give them more of a platform, I think to
that's
build
what
on.
Haas need more than anything. Stability. He's been with the team before.
No,
he gets on well with them. And that spirit that they had when they first came into the sport.
Drive survived.
I think
a couple of seasons ago.
Haas stopped...
I remember a door getting broken.
Yeah, there was. There's tensions in every team.
No,
but
I'm sure it was just twisted. I'm sure they had a good relationship.
Haas stopped developing their 2021 car about halfway through the season, or maybe even earlier, to work on their 2022 car.
They've had the same sort of car for 2-3 seasons.
They've had a long time to prepare for these new regulations. So I don't think they're going to do anything incredible, but I have put them up in 9th place because I think they are going to do a bit better.
I don't do better, but I think the problems are just going to affect them.
Yeah, I can see it. It's more of a hope.
I highly rate Magnussen, but
so Ellie, why'd you put? Well, what did you put? 10th? Did you?
I went Alfa Romeo 10th, and then
the
same.
I'd say Haas 9th, and I'd say I'd rate the driver lineup a little bit better. Obviously, Mick, a bit more experience. Magnussen, obviously a lot more experience, been out for a year. Their Barcelona testing only managed 160 laps, which was the lowest.
Yes.
Of all the teams.
Gasly did that by himself, didn't he?
For Haas.
No, Gasly did it for Alpha.
Oh yes,
Tauri
yeah.
himself,
I think a lot. Yeah, the other drivers could basically.
He did about 160.
And obviously for Bahrain they had a delay, so they missed.
Yes.
Missed the beginning of it, but they have been given extra time now, so hopefully they get a few more laps under their belt. But
I see a step up, but I don't think the car will be quite there yet.
Mitchell, who did you have in at 9th place?
I had Williams.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Albon. I think he was a good driver for was it Alpha
Tauri?
Alpha Tauri, is it? Yeah. So
Toro Rosso at the time.
Toro Rosso.
Yes,
That's why I was getting confused a bit.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a good driver. Went to Red Bull, struggled, but so has many drivers.
Everybody has struggled in that second
I don't
season.
know. I just don't have high hopes for Williams. Hope they improve, but the loss of George Russell's huge. Expected though, but I don't give him Latifi. He's not he's not nothing special to be honest.
I think they're for the money.
Okay.
Yeah, Albon is a good driver. He could do something, and that's why I haven't put him last because I think Albon pick him up some points, but I think it's gonna be a struggle for them.
Yeah,
Williams and Haas battling out.
No, I definitely think.
The
Hopefully,
wooden spoon.
There'll be a bit more competition though at the bottom end. There won't be
for sure. I don't think it's going to be as drastic.
Yeah. So in at number 8, I've gone for Williams. I think they will improve, and I think they could even nab a podium, but more on that a bit later. But I think the change at the top in ownership and in management, I think it is going to benefit Williams. Better funding, better everything, hopefully.
I say at least they've got funding, so that's why I put them 9. Haas don't, so I'm not sure what they're doing.
Mitchell, who have you gone for at 8th?
I've got Alpha Romero.
Yeah.
Romeo.
Romeo.
That's a player, isn't it? That's what Sam's a player. So I've gone for them. I think Bottas is a huge signing for them. I think if you get his confidence back, you can see what he did for Williams when he was back there. I think he was incredible. Him and Massa tearing it apart, really. That wasn't a decent Williams car, to be fair, but I just think if you get him firing, give him confidence, you can do. I think he will get a podium, just a podium, a win.
Okay.
Do you think the car underneath?
Is it delusional? 100%.
It could be a crazy race.
But
it could be
is this a dream?
Yeah.
I'm said.
There's only 5 finishers in it, and the rest were Haas.
Yeah.
You need about 4 red flags in this for him to win.
But crazier things have happened.
Exactly.
Who have you got in at number 8?
Don't scream at me. I've gone for a little bit different. A lot of people have high hopes for this team.
Oh no.
None of your favourites.
That's fine. I've done the same with Red Bull, don't worry.
I think this
Down low.
team has a good pathway ahead, but I've put 8th Aston Martin.
Okay.
I think they've got a new factory coming online, new wind tunnel, lots of equipment to get them back up, fighting for podiums. I just think it's too soon. They've had a change in management structure, but it's fresh, it's all new. I just have a feeling they're not quite gonna nail it.
See, and hindsight now, because I've said Boss wins a race, I put Alfa Romeo in 8. They will need to have a lot of crashes.
yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm thinking now. So maybe
it could be a crazy race. Obviously,
but
Russell did it.
Yeah, I have picked Aston Martin 7th.
Yeah.
Because I do agree to you extent. I think they'll be better. I'm not sure where they finished last year, actually, to be honest. But I think they have a better car. But I think around them, the competition's getting better as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I think they're just not going to take as big a step up.
No, yeah, they got good drivers. I highly rate Vettel. Stroll, he's all right. I know he's
decent.
Daddy's money and all that, but I do. I think he's improved and he's earned a spot, and I think he's actually earned a spot. Unlike a few of these, Mazepin should be nowhere near F3 or go-kart track, to be honest. But
so in at 7 you have Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Harry, what about you?
I put Williams here. I put them on 7th. This is a little bit optimistic, but I do think, they've had their management restructure a little bit earlier. Things are moving in the right direction. Obviously, the car looked better last year. The loss of Russell is big, as you said, but I think the lineup's okay. It's decent. It's nothing special, but I do think the car, instead of the drivers dragging the car, I think the car will be fairly solid. But I could easily see them down a few places. I got a feeling, and more of a hope than a feeling.
Just hungry.
Yeah. So that's why.
Yeah. I've gone for maybe a bit lower down than people would expect, but I've gone for number 7, Alpha Tauri. And I know that they have good drivers and they have had really good cars in the past. But I was just thinking with the new regulations, I think in the past, when there's been new regulations, it's taken Red Bull time to catch up. And I think Alpha Tauri, they're obviously under the same umbrella there, the sister team. And I think Red Bull and Alpha Tauri may struggle a bit more. Maybe we're wrong. It's really hard to tell at the moment.
No, it's like these are just guessing. It's a guessing game.
Yeah, plucking them out of thin air. But I think
because I've probably been a bit delusional on what I want to happen, but
I think that's fair. We don't know. Yeah. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Harry, who do you have in at number 6?
This is where it starts to get a little bit trickier.
Yes.
I hope I'm wrong. But I've gone Alpine at number 6.
Yeah.
I've gone 5.
They had a fairly good season last year. Better than obviously previously Renault have had. I think they've been quite consistently 5th, I believe, over the last 3 years.
Okay.
So this is a step back. They've got a good lineup. Ocon and Alonso.
Very solid.
And I know Alonso's going to be pushing. He's going to be hungry. He believes he can take another world title, which at 40 is
incredible.
I think his
great mentality.
I was going to say.
Does he believe it himself?
I think he genuinely believes it himself.
Whether he can do it. Well.
I think he's definitely hungry for it, and Alpine are quietly confident that they have a car to deliver.
They mentioned it. I see. You say quietly. I think they.
I was going to say
they came out and
maybe they know something we don't, but I think it's going to be tough for them.
And I was considering putting them higher. I didn't have the best, feeling, and then they did have some trouble in Barcelona. Obviously, the engine in Alonso's blew. And I think if reliability is an issue, if they can't get certain things under control, I think they will struggle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mitchell, who do you have in at number 6?
I had AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive fan of Gasly. I'm a bit disappointed with Tsunoda,
yeah.
Yeah, a bit disappointed with him because I've seen a bit of him at F2, and I really liked him because he was aggressive. And he tried to bring that there, but he just didn't get the respect, I think. And, new drivers, rightly so, so I just think he struggled.
Especially at the beginning, I think he really struggled in the car.
And when you compete against Gasly, who's an amazing form.
Yeah, very good form.
It's good. It makes
notice
you look
it.
even worse. So
Yeah, he did stand out. I think that was the biggest gap between teammates.
I do think he has a future in F1. I'm not sure it's like Red Bull, but I definitely think he's got a future in F1. Very good racer, but I expect more this season.
He was the first driver born in 2000, so
Yes.
I know.
not that much older than
No,
us.
he's not.
Getting there.
Yeah.
He looks a lot younger than us.
What are we doing with our lives?
Yeah. Well, this podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I put in at 6, a bit higher than you guys. I put Aston Martin.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they have a very solid driver lineup. They have the funding, obviously, from Lawrence Stroll, Lance's dad, and I think they could do well. They might not.
Yeah.
It is hard to tell, but I think they could potentially get a few podiums coming at number 6. Still, obviously, the bottom half of the table, but I think they could be getting on the podium a few times. Aston Martin. Yeah.
No, I can see it going that way, 2 ways, really.
Yeah.
Either good or disaster.
Their car doesn't really stand out, but it's hard to tell if that's a good thing or a
Yeah, I
bad
was
thing.
going to say it could be just, more of a middle ground.
Yeah.
I mean, I put them at 8th, but I think they could be as high as 5th. And that's what is exciting. Maybe, sure, you're not getting these teams, consistently fighting for podiums, but I think they'll all have that chance. And because of that, that midfield could end up anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
it did so last year as well.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
real fight, and I think hopefully
You
that'll
didn't see
continue.
much of it, though, to be honest, because of it was a bit back, but
Yeah, the title championship.
Yeah.
yeah.
It did
distracting.
take most
It
of
was.
the time.
If they kept their cameo,
Mitchell, number 5.
Alpine,
I've also gone for Alpine.
I just think, like I say, Alonso, I do think he still has it. I don't think he's the prime Alonso, 2-time world champion.
2005, 2006 was a long time ago
Yeah,
now.
is it for Renault? Is it
He won a
McLaren?
McLaren.
Was it McLaren? I was McLaren. Yeah, so I still think it's a really good race on him. Ocon, I think it's just going to get better and better. I think he had a good thing, but I think it's to give him confidence. And I think they'll go on and just... I'm sort of calling this, they'll win the best of the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a new 4.
Yeah.
Say new 4, there's been... Well, the new 4, yeah.
But
They're
best
also
of
that sort of thing, because
McLaren have
Ferrari
nudged
used
their
to
way.
always be there,
Yeah.
but this is the 4 now. to watch
Yeah,
out for.
McLaren have nudged their way back in, I think, because there wasn't too long ago they were running around at the back just for fun. But
Was it
definitely
2-time world
ago.
champion,
yeah,
though, so...
been an upturn. I've also gone for Alpine at number 5. I think, as Mitchell covered, they have a very, very solid driver lineup, and I think that's going to really benefit them, having 2 drivers that can work very well together, and they do seem to be getting the best out of the car. I'm not quite sure about the pink, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see. First 2 races, it's all pink, so we might get a bit confused with a racing point.
A little bit
A lot
similar.
of people
Yeah.
will be saying racing for him.
Oh, I thought that team left the other year. Harry, who have you got in?
I've put AlphaTauri a little bit higher than you two.
I can also see that.
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's Gasly led decision.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
Gasly getting all the points.
I think he'll get everything out of whatever car they give.
Yes.
I do think it will be
I think
okay.
he can do it any car. I rate him.
I don't think it'll
highly.
be the best car of the best of the rest, but with Gasly pushing, if Tsunoda comes online, I do agree he's a good driver and can be a good driver.
Yeah.
And the end of the season, I think he got 4th in the last race. He had some good results towards the end, unnoticed because of the drama that was going
Yes.
on.
He
But it
was.
was a better end to a rough season, and if he can come online, I think AlphaTauri could surprise again.
He definitely started to pick up pace at the end,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if he continues on that form,
So
then
he-
it'll be a very exciting start, I think.
He just gets a lot of that car, a lot more than normally. And that's why I think if he goes to any team, he would be able to do that, apart from the
Gasly,
Red Bull.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think he's could be a future world champion. I think he will be.
All right then, number 4. Harry, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I do agree. As said, there's a new top 4 forming. Similar cars as have been in the past. And I think because of last season pouring every bit of development into that car, I think these top 4 will be so close that Red Bull will slip in the constructors to 4th,
Oh,
which
I
pains
thought I was
me.
on something. We must be
Yeah.
doing it
Yeah.
together.
Oh, there you
'cause
go.
that's
You've got the
not
same.
Yeah.
It pains me as a Red Bull
I
fan.
couldn't believe it because I
But-
thought I was seeing that. I was looking at. I put Red Bull at 4. I was like, what was I on when I was doing this?
I do expect Max to fight for the championship. I expect all of these teams to
Trying to
fight.
say Perez is going to crash out every week.
I think
he's a solid number 2,
I think he's solid, I do.
but it was a solid number 2 in that 2-horse race.
No, yeah.
You know, they won the drivers. They didn't win the constructors last year.
Yes.
Mercedes still had that. And I think that's going to be on a larger scale. I think they could easily take third, second. I don't see them winning it. But I'll put them fourth. I think the tight field, and in testing it looks kind of sluggish and heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good going down the slow corners as a lot of them do.
No, I just don't think the regulations affect Red Bull.
I think that they were the last changes.
Yeah.
They were so dominant for 4 years, and then they were back down. You know, Mercedes, they didn't win the drivers last year, but they've won an 8th consecutive constructors, which is unbelievable. It's incredible. The engineers, the people designing these cars, the people in the aerodynamics, like what they've been doing for the last near decade is just something else. It's insane. Mitchell, you also went for Red Bull at number 4.
Yeah.
What do you reckon is going to hold them back? Drivers? Or...
I don't think regulations. I don't think it's drivers. They've got good drivers. I think they just haven't improved as much.
But do you think...
I think they put a lot of effort in that car to win the World Championship.
Yeah, I think to be in with a good shout of this constructors, you're going to have 2 drivers doing very, very well. And I'm not sure Sergio Perez matches up.
No,
I was going to say, if you look at out the top 4, all the drivers there, Perez is probably... He's still a really good driver, but probably the weaker side.
I only say that because I expect the car to be less
hard.
good, and so Max will push and get everything out, as we've seen him do.
Yeah.
And I don't think Perez can do that, because to be fair, most drivers can't.
Most drivers can't. No.
But if you put him P1, he'll defend for
for sure.
his life.
Yeah.
So
that's why I still expect him to be up there. But
Ministry of Defence, are you okay?
I've gone, obviously, different from you guys. I've gone McLaren at number 4, which obviously I don't want to see. I want Lando to become the youngest ever world champion, but I don't know why. It came to me in a dream, but I just had this vision of them having a really good car, but with reliability issues.
Yeah.
And I can just see them maybe not being as consistent as I think the Ferrari will be, because obviously Ferrari was quite consistent last year. I think the McLaren might trip up with that. It might not. It might finish every race. It might set all kinds of records, but that was just my thinking behind it.
It stopped on track today, literally just out of the pits.
Yeah.
And Lando Norris was pushing his car back up the pit lane, which is not a good sign.
Not a good sign, especially 1
week
week
knows
out.
F1 doesn't go, driver goes too well, he'll always be a pit crew.
And obviously, Daniel Ricciardo's just tested positive, so he's missed precious time in the car. So we'll see next weekend.
Possibly a slow start to the season.
Yeah.
You make valid points. Maybe I'll change it over.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it could go either way, and I hope they do better.
So I've put Red Bull at number 3 because I agree with you guys that they're not gonna. I don't think they respond as well to the regulation changes as the others, but I think Max is gonna get everything out of that car and will drag them up to a higher points finish in the constructors. Mitchell, who have you got?
I've got Ferrari.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think looks strong in practice. I could say it could go anywhere, but they look strong. It was literally just a guess out of 2 and 3, to be honest. But I've just gone for McLaren at 2. I think they've done a bit better. I think, like, improvement-wise, I could say maybe I'll switch it back because the drivers, the issues with Daniel Ricciardo. But no, I can still see Norris on a very good season. And again, I don't think he challenged for the world title. He's up there, but I just think both Ricciardo and Norris have a very good season and be consistent and get McLaren up there.
So you've got Ferrari at 3 and then McLaren at 2.
Yeah.
Harry, what about you at 3?
I've got McLaren here. I really hope the car is good, and I think we will see it, but I just don't think it will be as consistent. Yeah. And I think Ricciardo will close the gap to Norris quite a bit. I expect Norris to do it again and beat Ricciardo. I expect podiums from both. I expect it to be tight. Lando will get his first podium on the top step, first win.
I'll put all my student loan on it. Not much right now. It is an overdraft, but I'd put all my money I had left.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Unless something goes terribly wrong.
I'm not a better man, but just to make it. Come on, I'm not watching this.
Yeah. Harry, what about a number 2?
I've gone Ferrari.
That's who I've gone for as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best lineups. I think they're quite similar in skill.
Yeah.
Sainz had that, crazy consistency last year. Leclerc is, there's a fire in him. He wants it as well, just as Max did. And if he has the car and the car's there, I reckon there could be fireworks between the two drivers.
I think so as well. They're both very obviously passionate, and neither of them are a number 2.
Yes.
They're both young. They're both fighting for that spot as the top teammate. And I think there could be some...
Yeah.
If it's the two of them battling for a win,
I don't
Carlos
think
Sainz
Team
for
Orders
his
is
first
going
win.
to... Yeah, I don't think Team Orders is going to step in.
Yeah.
So better Drive to Survive season.
Yeah,
If
I'm
there isn't the one after
I'm not
this.
expecting nastiness.
No.
But I'm expecting the elbows to come out, on track.
Yeah.
I have heard bad reviews about his Drive to Survive season now, so there might not be another. But
No.
We have all put Mercedes on top. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I have, and I do think they dominate. They dominate to an extent that it's comfortable win.
I think it'll be tight.
I think it will be tight, but I think they're kind of kidding us at the moment with their times.
I do. I don't believe they've always done this. So
They always sandbag, and I think they've got a lot up their sleeves.
The new design,
it's interesting.
it's scary.
I don't think they're using. I'm not sure.
I don't think they're doing everything with it, obviously, at the
there
moment.
must be more to it.
But they obviously, the new regulations really, really benefited them last time, and I think they've got some very smart people at their team, and I think they will win. And I think they're going to do the double.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Early call for that.
Well, I've gone. Oh, yeah.
Well, why do you think Mercedes? I guess first.
Mercedes first for me as well, and I'm intrigued to see what car they bring out.
Do you think Russell's going to do well in the Mercedes?
I do. I
partner?
back him, and I'm going back for when he had that practice at Bahrain, when he got jumped his Lewis car. Didn't this? It wasn't with that. He just felt like he'd been there for years.
Yeah.
So
he should have. He should have got a win then, but obviously the pit stops and stuff mucked him about.
I think that's the good team atmosphere they have. The Lewis, I think, will act as a mentor. I don't think the rivalry will be as intense as some people maybe think.
Yeah.
I think George is going to go for it.
George is going to go for it.
But I think Lewis, if Lewis wants it, he'll...
Whereas like Sainz and Leclerc team orders, I reckon it'll be a little less...
And I think
elbows out with those two.
Russell would be more willing to accept team orders because
he knows he's the future there.
He's the future. Hamilton is the elder statesman. Hamilton is the, in my opinion, best racing driver we've ever had in Formula One. Not everyone agrees with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure Sainz's Italian is going to be up there.
Yeah.
I think you might forget a few lines.
We'll see.
All right, so let's move on now to our Drivers' Championship top 3. Harry, do you want to start us off?
Okay. Obviously, I think the top 4 are going to be very, very tight. I think every one of those drivers are going to be fighting for podiums. I hope all of them get it. I'm sure one might miss out. Number 3, last year's champion, I've got Verstappen.
Okay.
I'm just not sold on the car yet.
Yeah.
I think they've got something up their sleeve, and I do think, though, while one must never count out Adrian Newey, it does take him longer to get used to things, the new regs, in the past. And I think the car won't be there for him. But I do think while I put him 4th in the Constructors, the pure skill that he has, and we've seen that he has, will leapfrog him into 3rd. 2nd... Oh, do you want to... Yeah.
Do you want to go with your 3rd?
I don't know. It seems... because I highly rate Max. He's a wonderful driver, but I don't have him in my top 3. Only because I placed Red Bull in top 4.
Yeah.
And I think Perez is not that bad of a driver to let the team down. So I've got to stick to my guns pretty much. So I've gone Russell 3.
Okay.
I think he'll have a good season.
Yeah.
It's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone wants to see him do well, I think, especially if you're British.
Well, if it was up to me, I'd love to see Bottas win the whole driver championship. But
I think Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren are all going to be really, really close. And I think Ferrari are going to do well in the Constructors because they're going to have 2 drivers doing very, very well. But I think in the Drivers' Championship, I've got Lando at number 3. Even though I put McLaren at 4, I think Lando's really going to lead the team. I know Ricciardo's a very, very good racer, but he didn't quite get the grip of the car.
I don't think that.
Do you not?
I think Daniel has I put him at 2. I think he had a very good season. Maybe COVID and stuff, but before I just thought this is going to be his season.
You reckon it's settled in?
I
settled in,
so.
and I think he's got, he's a hell of a driver. And he's done it at Red Bull, showed his quality there. Didn't work out at Reynolds, but this is his time. It's all or nothing for him now. And I think this is his time. I think he won't carry McLaren, but he'll be a lead driver by the end of it.
Yeah, Harry, who have you got in at number 2?
I think Russell is going to challenge, but that experience, he showed a few rare mistakes, but I think Hamilton, number 2, I still think he's gonna have that edge over Russell, at least for this season. I think that Mercedes is going to be a beast, and I think he'll put it in number 2.
All right. I've gone Verstappen number 2 because I think he is really going to pull that Red Bull, and he's going to get the absolute most out of it every single race, week in, week out.
Yeah, I do think he'll be 3rd. I think I'm going to change Russell out for Max.
Okay, on the fly.
I do think more. I think Max has to be in the top 3 at least.
I think it'll be so close. I don't know.
I think Mercedes win comfortably enough to say comfortably.
Mitchell, who have you got in at number 1?
My guy, Hammy.
Hamilton. That's
number
who I've
8
gone for.
at last.
Yeah. Well, it'll be number 9.
He should be at 9 or 10.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think Hamilton. I think he's the best driver in the grid.
Yes.
And I think he will have the best car. So.
No, I agree completely.
I think it's that combination. It just has to be a win.
Yep.
Yeah. I think he's got the knowledge, the experience, and most definitely the talent.
He's all there for him. It's just written to start. It should have been last year, really.
Yeah.
But
it's everything. I think is going to be there. Harry, you've obviously gone a bit left field with this.
Because I put him 2nd. Now, every single year over the past 3 or 4 years, maybe, possibly longer, they've said this is the year. There's been occasions of it's going to be next year, but I can sort of, I'm getting swept up in the confidence of the team, the comments from other people on the paddock. I put Ferrari at number 2 in the constructors, but I think one of their drivers is going to win it.
To be honest,
and it's not Leclerc. It's going to be Sainz.
Okay, if he does, it wouldn't surprise me.
No, I think it could be either of them. I think Leclerc has got the talent, but I think Sainz wants it. I think he's got the consistency.
It all depends on the car.
And I like a bit of an upset, and I think that would be.
I think we could be going into the last race of the season, and it could still be anyone's game, like 3, maybe 4 different drivers.
And somehow Mike Massey will still have a way to ruin the race.
All right.
But no, it's Lewis Hamilton's chance to lose, in my opinion. But
yeah,
I do still agree. But I think at the moment, from what we've seen, the Ferrari looks the best on track. It's their most confidence, but
it's me assuming
Mercedes will, if they're not on the pace at the start, by the end they will be.
Yes,
Sainz will have better car than Mercedes, and if he does that, then he's got a very, very good chance.
The Mercedes development is rapid,
unparalleled.
They do not hang about in that factory. They work night and day. They must be very sleep deprived by the end of the year. But I think Ferrari are going to work.
At uni, isn't it?
I think Ferrari are going to be quick out the blocks. But I do think that Mercedes is going to catch him by the end, a bit like how we saw last season. The Red Bull was quicker at the beginning, but by the middle to the end, Mercedes had well and truly caught up with them. Let's go on now. What race are we most excited for? This season's going to have 22 races, potentially 23 if Russia gets rescheduled, potentially to Turkey. Harry, what are you looking forward to the most?
I always like this track, Azerbaijan, Baku. I say always like it. It's only been here since 2016, so same year I sort of properly started watching it. I believe that first race was a bit of a snooze fest, if I'm not wrong. Or possibly it was 2017. It can hold some dull races, but I think the majority of them have been pretty crazy and unexpected results. 2018, there was 6 retirements. Quite a lot of crashes, quite a lot of drama. Obviously, last season, Verstappen crashed, Hamilton locked up,
Yeah.
and the podium was, Perez, Vettel, Ocon maybe, someone else, and Gasly. It was Gasly.
Gasly, yes.
I like that it can mix it up a little bit, and I always look forward to it, and I'll look forward to it this season.
I think with the cars being wider, there might be less overtaking in Baku, but
For sure.
we'll
That
have
is a worry.
to wait and see. Mitchell, what race are you most excited
Well,
for?
my favourite race is Singapore, under the lights.
Yeah.
One of the ones I would love to go to, but unfortunately my student loan doesn't cover
Yeah.
cover it, and my mum and dad don't love me enough to pay for it.
I'm
I'm joking, but
I was actually in Singapore, and I was there the weekend after, so you could see the street circuit still. It was like a couple of days after
Yeah.
the street circuit was still up, the barriers and stuff. And I was gutted that we went there just a few days
it's
before.
one of the
Yeah.
ones on my bucket list I have to go see. So is the 21, but that is
Yeah.
the main one I'd love to go see. But I've gone for Jeddah in Saudi. I know all the
Yes.
human rights issues stuff, but that race was just from qualifying to the race itself was just.
Yeah.
I don't think my heart could take it in a couple of weeks' time, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Second
it was,
race in. I
it was
think
just
it will be
incredible.
very interesting to see the cars going around a street circuit. The
Yeah.
new cars, I think
Yeah.
That's it.
that's going to be interesting.
For that race, I'm not sure if it's the track circuit or the drivers what made it, but it was just like I say, it was me, my dad, my mum, just watching it, and it ruined relationships in the household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that.
Bit tense.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah.
my mum and dad spoke to each other for a while.
I have put Singapore as one I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, it was cancelled.
Yeah.
2020, 2021, and it is a genuine favourite. I like the night races or like the dusk
I love the night
races. But one that I don't know how good it's going to be. I really don't know much about it. But Miami, new
Interesting.
track. No one knows a great deal about it. It could either be really bad
Is it nighttime?
or really good. I'm not sure. I think it's in the
I think it's
day.
the day. I've had a guess of the day.
I haven't heard that it's night, but
But
But I'm with Ricardo. Let's get a
Yeah.
Las Vegas track.
yeah.
yeah,
Everyone.
in the desert.
Yeah.
Most of them are these days out in the Middle East.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having two, because last season the US Grand Prix had, I think, 400,000 fans across the 3
it
days.
was massive.
Absolutely
Really growing
massive there. So it was the most in-person watched race last year. So hopefully Miami will have a good atmosphere, quite a cool city, I think, to do it in.
No,
So
incredible city to do it in. Yeah, that's one I'd be looking forward to for sure. Interesting.
I always love a new track.
Yeah.
I love the history of the old ones and, sort of knowing kind of what to expect, but there's nothing like going to a new track and, anything could happen, anyone could win. So
yeah.
I agree.
What do you reckon the biggest surprise podium is going to be this year, Harry?
I'm going to go with 3 championship winners all on the podium together.
Ooh, that would be good.
And I think that will be Alonso, that will be Vettel, and it will be Hamilton or Verstappen. I don't want to be too specific because already I think I'm pushing it.
Yeah. In what order?
I'm going to
doesn't
say
matter.
Alonso wins,
Yeah?
Vettel comes second, and Hamilton or Verstappen third.
Yeah.
We said Hamilton gets a red flag, crashes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I don't mind. I just would love to see those two,
Yes.
they're still in it, they're still fighting. If they've got better cars under them, I'd love to see them on the podium. And together, I think it would be even more special.
Definitely.
I thought it was just who you thought would be, be the most
Yeah.
surprised podium. So I haven't done the whole podium, so I picked one person, and I've mentioned him already. But Bottas, I was looking at Gasly, but I thought he wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows what he can do now. But I've gone Bottas. I think if you give him confidence, look after him, wrap him up and cotton, and then
Yeah.
He looks
could
like
be-
a different man since he's got that 2-year contract.
He had a lot of personal issues as well.
Yeah.
Like with his wife going through. Well, it's not for me
Yeah.
to say, but she doesn't listen. But he had personal issues,
Yeah.
and and I think if he can hopefully he's overcome them, and then if you get a fully fit, happy boss, then
I
I think
think
so. He will get you points for sure.
Yeah.
I think he could do it, and I hope he can.
I really hope. I think because if he can,
He
and
always
it's,
starts the season with the belief
he does.
that he's going to
It's
do
like-
incredibly well.
It's a shame he's not in Australia because that's guaranteed win.
I was
for
going to
him.
say
Yeah.
he's always good there.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
I've gone for Alex Albon on the podium.
Okay.
Not to win, maybe a second or a third. It'd have to be a bit of a chaotic race, red flags,
rain,
crashes,
2
rain,
laps.
yeah. But I think the Williams is going to be. I don't think it's going to get many podiums, maybe just that one. But I can see that as a surprise first season back in. He is a capable racer. Hopefully, he gets the best out of the car, and the car allows him to get the best out of himself. So I think that could be something.
Could be. I mean, I think everyone would enjoy. Everyone loves a comeback story, right?
Yeah.
And for
Same as
Albon, a
Albon.
year out to come back in.
Same as Bottas.
And I think
Yeah.
as well with
Yeah.
Gasly, it was
Gasly
so
did it.
public what happened.
Yeah.
Like
But
you
yeah.
saw them stripping the names off of the Red Bull garage, so I think that's why people love the comeback story.
Yeah, like I say, I think that's what made me fall in love with Gaz, is like this comeback story. And
Yeah.
I would love the same with Bottas, and it would be a great story if he can come back and maybe, retire on,
on a high, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's up to him, obviously, but
Yeah.
it'd be a cool story for F1.
Yes. Last season saw a lot of red flags. So, random number, how many do you reckon there's going to be this season?
Well, I'll start by saying there was 5 in 2021.
Oh, I've
I
actually gone
believe.
for 5, surprisingly. It's not like I saw that stat before and picked a round number, but
I've gone for 6. I got one more than last year. I know last year was a lot, but with new regs, with the teams trying to understand them, they've been going wide quite a lot in practice. I know in testing. I know they will get to grips with the cars, I think there is Sal, Sonoda. There's still a lot of young drivers on there who make these mistakes. If we do hit 23 races, that's a lot of races. I think it could happen. I hope it doesn't, but I think it could.
Yeah, I have gone for 5. I did see the average was 5 last year, and I don't think it'd be much more. Might be 1 or 2 on the side, but I think 5 was generally the number I thought was reasonable. I think with no Michael Massey chucking it out, them for fun, I think it could potentially be less. I don't know. It depends it's up to the guy in charge, really.
Yeah.
See what he does.
I think it also depends on the reliability of the cars.
For sure.
And how quickly the drivers get to grips with the handling of them and the porpoising, the bouncing of the cars. I think if it catches people out, then we could see people going off.
For sure.
But if they get the hang of it, obviously there's new race directors alternating
That's
it.
what I say. It depends what their views on it and new
so
regulation effects.
Obviously, red flags are there for the safety of the drivers and the stewards and stuff. So you want them to be used when they need to be used, but you don't want them to be overused. So I've gone for 4.
Yeah.
But obviously, when there is a red flag, the cars all line up in the pit lane, and you can change the tyres, and you can replace parts as long as they're identical. What do you guys think of that rule?
I think on paper it makes sense, but I do remember, I can't remember what race, I think I tried to forget, but I do remember screaming quite loudly, "This makes no sense." And I'm sure, I think it happened to Hamilton quite a lot, so anyone who was wanting him to win, you go in on a yellow, you change your tyres, and then there's a red flag, and all of a sudden, any
You've
advantage
lost-
from those fresh tyres is lost.
You've lost the
It's
grid
a shame.
position.
The grid position, yeah.
Someone else
And
can come in and get a free pit
I was going to
stop.
say, you've lost grid positions, but then you've lost the advantage of the tyre, so
You've been
I understand why it's
disadvantaged.
there, and I'm not sure it's possible to change that. Maybe we could get, a bit quicker. I don't know, because you have to yellow flag it straight away,
Yeah.
whereas you don't always necessarily red flag it. So maybe
But I think the delay causes people
yes, because people are going to
to
come in, they're not going to wait
Yeah.
around.
people if you miss it once, then you've lost your advantage anyway. So people want to get in quickly. So I think either they have to call a red flag quicker, or
My only
maybe
suggestion is, I know it eats up laps. The cars are only fueled for so many. You can't really extend it. But saying you can't pit, it would take away the advantage of these of people going in and pitting straight away. But say, hey, for the first few laps or wherever many, the first lap or 2, while they assess whether it's a red flag, you can't pit stop. And if it's not going to be a red flag, you then can pit stop. And if it's a red flag, everyone can then change. So it just removes the luck of being in the right place, right time.
I do think that, though, as you said, it is luck.
Yeah.
So maybe you take that risk. Maybe
Yeah,
the
you
red
can't remove everything,
Yeah.
every part of luck from the sport.
Like
Yeah.
I said, I think you create your own luck. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
And
about
sometimes
strategy, I
it
guess,
goes for you and sometimes
Exactly.
it doesn't. So,
for sure.
yeah. What is your biggest hope for the season? Like the biggest maybe change we're going to see, or the biggest increase in performance, or...
well, I've gone for Bottas to win the championship. If I did to flash race
Okay,
to
yeah,
win
yeah.
a race, I
the
think it's more
championship
realistic.
might be
Yeah.
pushing it
Yeah,
a bit.
but to
That's
win
more of a miracle.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. To win a race. I would
Yeah.
love to see Bottas win a race. To be honest, it'd be amazing to come back. He's been through tough times, and it's not hard. It must be like hard to compete with Lewis Hamilton.
Oh,
which is number
yeah,
one.
I think he is a great driver, and I
And
think
I
he'll
think
prove
he got-
that again.
Mm-hmm. And he got played around with Toto as well. I think Toto was a genius, but I think he was harsh on Bottas.
He was definitely the number 2,
Yeah.
No, it's
Bottas,
clear.
and now he's going to go in and be...
To be honest, it's seen that
Number
Bottas.
one.
Yeah, to be honest, it's seen that Bottas the third. So if I like
Yeah.
George Russell,
Yeah.
there's 2.
Yeah.
For sure, especially that last season.
Harry, what about you? What do you want to get out of the season?
I've gone for a more overview of it. I want the new regulations to cause the teams to be closer.
Yes.
If it doesn't, mess around the order at all, we get the same order, but every race you don't know what's going to happen. People are overtaking. I'll be happy, man. I want a fight at every level of the grid.
Yeah. I've said I want it to be more competitive. I want, as you said, every single position there should be a competition for it.
100%.
And last season there was the most amount of different winners and podiums. So I'd like to see that again. I like to see lots of different people on the podium, lots of different people getting recognised.
Less Bot or whatever, on the podium thing.
I think F1's reputations was a bit ruined from what happened. So I think if they get more competitive and bring the sport back into a good light, it'd be
definitely
huge.
fairer
Yes,
racing
another big
and
thing.
more consistent penalties and
attract more fans. Really, that's what.
Yeah, and I
they
think
wanted
if
to
it
do.
continues on this
More
track
entertaining.
with better tightening of the rules, because I think they're doing a good job. Drive to Survive, we can argue either way, but it is getting fans in. It seems to be catching more with the new regulations.
Yeah.
Maybe you're bringing in new people, but you need to keep them there.
yes.
It gets frustrating with these.
When it's boring, people don't want to hang
Yeah,
around
exactly.
if it's the same thing every
Unless
weekend.
Hamilton's winning, then I'm.
Yeah. But it's 2 hours of your life,
But-
and you don't want to feel like that's 2 hours
No.
you're not getting back.
Yeah.
No one is on Sunday hungover, so.
Yeah.
because
I've also said
Back
I'd
up
like
quick.
to see Norris and Sainz getting their first wins, because I think they're both very, very, very good races, but they've just been a bit unfortunate. So a good championship battle as well, with maybe 3, maybe 4.
gonna say,
Maybe I'm being a bit greedy.
Push forward. What was that? 2010, 2012, maybe
Yeah.
last time that happened. 2012, maybe. It's greedy, but I would love it.
Yes.
Was this British?
4 drivers all trying to go for it.
For
Oh,
the
I'd love to see a
championship.
British podium.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
all-British podium.
I think it's cheerable. I think it's a very good chance it could happen.
it definitely
That'd be
could
incredible.
happen, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, international listeners may not think
Agree,
the same,
yeah.
but
Well, in the UK,
you can't
so-
hide your bias too much. And I think
Yeah.
we always
But-
do quite good in the sport, and I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, I can say I love a Russian little podium, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no Russian drivers there, so
Yeah.
maybe we have to edit that out. I don't
yeah,
know.
maybe.
Just giving Harry more.
yeah.
a lot of job.
Alright. Thank you for listening to episode 2 of Rear Winging It Formula 1 podcast. I've been your host, Ellie Ledwell.
I've been Harry Mckay.
I've been Mitchell Menell.
Thank you very much for listening.